Hey, what's up? Hello. Oh no, that's your intro. Hey, what's up? Hello. My name's. I did it again.
You want to explain the video?
Did we start?
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Michael BookLion, and I'm here today with my friend
Emmmabooks.
The last time I was on Twitter, I tweeted a poll asking if we should be drunk or sober for our next video. And sober won. No, I'm drunk one. So we're drinking alcohol for our videos. We're doing a collab.
You want to explain? Why don't you explain?
Can you do it?
So today we're making an advice video for authors as to what they should stop doing when writing YA books.
And characters, because
yes.
the characters need advice too.
I mean, the authors need advice on their characters, technically.
Listen.
But what is your first piece of advice?
Okay, my first piece of advice to authors. Oh man, can you start?
So one of my least favorite things about YA romances is when the author like writes the story and it's not like set up.
Me in the nuts.
You're gonna have so much to edit out.
Okay, keep going.
So one of my least favorite things about YA romances is when authors like they don't set up the story for it to be a romance, but then a romance like starts in like the 2/3 of the way through the book. So like the synopsis doesn't like introduce a love interest and like all throughout the story.
So my love interest.
That's nice. For example, if the synopsis doesn't have a love interest, like it seems like it's just gonna be like a book about like a badass female main character, and then it's like a romance. Essentially, I would like it if authors would stop like introduce your romance in the beginning and like let it grow, like let that slow burn happen.
It's like a flower.
Yeah.
But like a really quick growing flower.
No, that's the ones I don't want.
My first piece of advice is to YA parents out there. So these authors are writing parents. Parents are like having sex with supernatural creatures, but then they don't tell their kids. And then you thought your kid wasn't gonna find out she was half. What's Clary?
Shadowhunter.
You thought
that's because Jocelyn's also a Shadowhunter. No, she's not half Shadowhunter. She's a full-blooded Shadowhunter.
Listen, regardless of what the case is, just tell your kid that they're supernatural powers. Like there was, do you remember the angel phase where everyone's parents were having sex with angels? By the way, I'm pretty sure that's sacrilegious. Thank you very much. And then these kids were like, oh my god, I have wings, and it's like, how are you gonna fucking hide that, Janet? Like, how do you think they weren't gonna find out?
I mean, Harry Potter, like, his parents were dead. Like, nobody could tell him. To be fair, his aunt and uncle knew. But
The
Dursleys.
The Duffer brothers.
The Dursleys.
My next piece of advice is clarify your sex scenes.
Yes!
Because
That's gonna be mine.
Do you want to take it over?
No, you got it.
Because when you're writing a sex scene and the characters take their clothes off and the next thing you know, a rose blossoms, you're setting some kids up for confusion. Like, that doesn't happen. Is that what happens for you? Kids are gonna be like taking their clothes off and then trying to do the dirt. And be like, why didn't my turn into a rose? Or why didn't my I'm gonna stop talking. Just make them aware.
Stop using so many euphemisms. Like, for example, like, don't say velvet wrapped steel. Say penis. I'm even okay with I'll be fine with say penis. Don't say some words.
I'm so sorry. I didn't know she was gonna say those words.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, your turn.
I like went off of that one.
That's cheating.
Oh, text language. If you're writing contemporary and your characters are texting each other, use proper grammar. I don't, like, can you name a single person, even as a teenager, like think back a couple years, like how many times did you text like the word next, NXT, or like later, L8R?
Were you asking a question? Give me your cup.
I hate it when authors use that text language because it's like they're trying so hard to be hip, but like they're so showing their age when they do that, you know what I mean? I don't even think when I was like 11 and had my first cell phone, like I texted like that, you know, like we only use like you are for your, like ironically anymore, or if we're being lazy, like nobody texts like that in real life anymore. What's your next one, Michael?
How many ounces of vodka is this?
Okay.
How do I sit down?
He's still your spot. This is the new Michael BookLion.
Michael Book Puppy. I want to tell the readers to stop doing something because everyone says no one lets go of a breath. Like everyone knows they're holding their breath. You don't let go of a breath.
Yeah,
I have held a breath I didn't know I was holding before. And so every time someone tweets about how stupid it is, I'm like, I'm feeling personally attacked right now.
Actually, that's really funny when you say that because I was driving to school once and like I almost like got into like a car came at me
and you didn't know you were holding
I didn't know I was holding my pen. I'm kind of overseeing it in every YA book, but I think people like make too big a deal of it.
Hi, Emmmabooks.
I'm over love triangles. I'm really over them. Like I want healthy relationships. I want relationships.
Do you think she's crackers?
I hate love triangles. I think that they're just like so overrated. They've been done so many times and they're never done in a unique way.
Okay, but hear me out. You're on Tinder and you're talking to two people seriously on Tinder. Is that a love triangle?
No. Love triangle only happens if like it's two brothers in love with you or two best friends in love with you.
Isn't that incest?
No, not at all. The love triangle trope was so overdone. Literally the only good one is the Infernal Devices. Like I can't think of another love triangle that I genuinely enjoyed.
Okay, so the next thing I hate is when you're in a fantasy world, but then it's like they're drinking pineapple juice.
What?
And I was reading a fantasy book, and the fantasy character smelled like sandalwood. I don't even know what that is in our world. Like, how did that make it to a fantasy world?
So you don't like it when like modern elements are too far into fantasy worlds?
It depends on your level of fantasy. You can be fantasy, and then you can be fantasy.
Wanna know what I don't like about fantasy books? I don't like when a book is like borderline like historical fiction or like just sort of feels like it's set in like an alternate world. Like it's not like modern, but it's not like, you know, like vampires and werewolves and witches, you know what I mean? But then like later into the book, like fantasy elements are like just starting to be integrated and like it comes out of nowhere, and then it's like, I thought this whole time I was reading like a totally different genre of book, and then all of a sudden it's fantasy, you know what I mean?
You really don't like things that are introduced later on in the book.
No, I know.
You want it all laid out.
Everything in the beginning, I'm so impatient. I feel like when it's introduced later in the book, it's never executed well, you know? Like romances that start 2/3 of the way in the book, like they come out of nowhere, you know what I mean? Because there's so little time left that they can't, you know, I think that they make it seem like love happens too quickly. I actually don't mind insta love that happens at the beginning of the book. Like if two characters, like, I see how you feel about insta love now. You're like, yes.
I think I'm done drinking.
No, you're not. Insta love that's in the beginning of the book doesn't really bother me. Like Twilight, The Mortal Instruments. Like they fall in love when they first see each other. Like that doesn't bother me as much. But when people fall in love after knowing each other for 200 pages and then they like just fall in love, I'm like, this isn't realistic.
You spoke so many words. My advice to young adult character siblings is take self-defense classes because you're probably gonna die. Like it happens a lot.
Or like best friends of...
Yeah, if you know like the main character, take self-defense classes because someone's gonna try and kill you. And I don't like when they market the book wrong. You go in and you're expecting like X-Men and you get like Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children.
You're so mad about that, aren't you?
You can...
It's like how Flame in the Mist was marketed as a Mulan retelling. That's not a Mulan retelling.
Or it's like how the love interest was marketed as a spy novel, but it wasn't really a spy novel, it was a meta novel. And it's just like, you marketers out, you're affecting how the book does because you put people in expecting like candy and they come away with vegetables. Who the fuck wants that?
That is a boss-ass analogy.
That's a trash analogy.
No,
I love you,
really
but
I
just want to hold this puppy.
Hold the puppy. I used to have like so many good ones. What do you think?
Well, bring them back.
I hate cover changes. The cover changes mid-series. Bad idea. No, like the Diviners had one, and
who
else had one?
No.
Shatter Me.
Those were good cover changes. Did you see the first one?
No, but that's what I'm saying.
That bitch was just so rounded.
No, I didn't want.
So rounded.
I didn't want the first Shatter Me cover, but now it's so difficult because like they haven't printed the new cover in hardcover. Like they only have that first one in hardcover, and so now nobody's matches unless you have the paperbacks. Like that's why it's annoying. That was like the biggest glow up of YA literature I think there's ever been. Now like everyone's different things.
You're sober.
Not really. Bless you.
Why didn't we plan this out before we got drunk? Like I thought this would be so good and then we got drunk and then started talking. Whose idea was that? We filmed a video on her channel. Her name's Emmmabooks. So
he's having a grand old time.
So go click the link in the description and subscribe to me because I don't have a lot of subscribers. Oh, I'm not licking my hand. It's got dog on it.
She is off limits in this video.
It's not stopping.